Hi, I'm John Gebhardt, President of the Friends of the Log Cabins, and be aware you can visit the village anytime dawn to dusk and see these beautiful 1800 structures that were built by pioneers to this area. This sign welcomes you to the village, and I especially like the last statement, "May all who pass this way reflect a bit from whence we came." Back in 1968, the Quinsippi Island Heritage Foundation created this village by saving and moving these original 1800 structures here.
Good day, everyone. My name is Dan Conboy, and I'm a member of the board of the Friends of Log Cabins here in Quincy, Illinois. And I'm standing with you today in front of the village smokehouse. Now, they use the smokehouse primarily to smoke their meats because they had no other way of preserving meats and keeping them viable for a long period of time. The process, of course, as many of you know, is that you remove the moisture from your meats and vegetables in order to keep them preserved, and allows you to consume the meat and vegetables for a long period of time, especially over the winter time when meat and vegetables were not available. Now, the process of smoking has been around for many generations. Even today, we do what's called kind of a hot smoke, where we put our meat over a hot fire and allow the smoke to permeate the meat. But this process also cooks the meat, which therefore requires us to consume it within a very short period of time. The process we're talking about with this house is called a cold smoke. And in this process, we do not allow the fire to get much hotter than around 85 degrees. And in order to do that, they have to use a hardwood or a fruit wood that is greener than what you normally would use to build a fire. And this allows the fire to burn more slowly and not quite so hot. Now, a smokehouse was used not only to help preserve the meat, but also for vegetables. And many times when you had fruit, you didn't need a smokehouse, you merely had to slice it and lay it out in the sun for a few days, and that would preserve it as well, remove the moisture. So let's walk inside. Now, as you can see from the construction, it again is all stone, but you can see that they built in actually vent holes on either gable of this smokehouse. This allows for the smoke to rise, permeating the meat or the vegetables that's being hung here, and then escape out into the outside. As you see the fire, they built pretty much in the center of the structure, which allows the smoke to permeate all of the inside, allowing it actually to go out to the vent on either side of the gables. What you see here on the rafters are various instruments for which they hung their meat and vegetables. Again, they would try to hang them as in a location where it best permeated the type of meat that they were trying to smoke, because they wanted to make sure that they were thorough and that the entire piece of meat or vegetables had the moisture removed. Quite often they would have a shelf inside here where they would actually roll the meat or the vegetables in salt prior to hanging them, and this aided in the removal of the moisture and curing of the meat. Depending upon the size and the type of meat or vegetables, some of the meat could be in here as much as 10 days to 2 weeks before they were adequately smoked. They would then move them to a higher portion of the smokehouse, and they could actually be stored here for as much as a year or even longer, and still the meat would be viable for use. Vegetables, they obviously would probably consume them sooner than that, but again, once the moisture was removed, most of the food was able to be used as late as you really needed to. Now, the reason that they would use stone in those times was pretty much to regulate the temperature. They needed the smoking to be at a certain temperature, which was really quite low. It's under 100 degrees. But if the temperature outside was hot or freezing, the use of stone was a natural insulator that allowed them to regulate the heat inside. So this was kind of an overview of why we use the smokehouse and how important it is to the settlement villages.
You can visit the village anytime from dawn to dusk And we basically have a self-informational guided tour that's on our website that you can go visit. And you can either download it or you can reach it by Wi-Fi down here in the village. I would appreciate it if you'd sign our guest book so we know you visited to enjoy seeing these historic structures. And as the entrance sign says, may all who pass this way reflect a bit from whence we came.